All righty, fellas. What is going on? Week 7, fantasy football. You know what we're doing around here, answering some questions to get things kicked off for the day. We got the Jaguars making me look extremely stupid on Twitter this morning when I tweeted out that the Patriots were winning this game at the end of the first quarter.
Oh my God, I thought maybe he was about to throw a pick. I was just about to say, in May we trust, and he almost threw a pick. Sorry. I just, for the record, I had the stream on. Yeah, Cisco just dropped a pick. So we take that because it doesn't show up on the May stat sheet. But yeah, all jokes aside, I did stream Drake Maye. I don't know why their best wide receiver just wants to go down with an illness. And the guy that they put in, Jalen Polk, can't catch a fucking nosebleed, or can't catch a nose.
Can't catch a nosebleed.
I can't talk because it's, I can't talk because this is the most infuriating offense to watch right now. Like, Jalen Polk, buddy, you were a second-round pick. Make a fucking play. When the ball is in your hands, because you can't fucking separate, catch it. Sorry.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Jordan playing the blame game. Thanks to y'all. DeMario has me 4 points. Yeah, I didn't anticipate him throwing up this morning before the game. Sorry about that.
Sorry, Jordan. I wasn't actually in London to confirm whether or not he had an illness going into this game. So, yeah, my apologies there. Considering he had 2 catches in the first drive and then fucking got listed questionable with an illness. My apologies. I can't make that read.
No, we can't make those reads. No, we're just messing around realistically. But I'm actually happy Douglas is doing nothing because I'm facing him in the flock league. So I'm totally cool with it.
I'm not.
We do have the flock questions first, as usual. I just pinned it in the chat. If you guys do want to skip the line. What happened?
Right. Drake Maye threw a touchdown.
To who?
Third and long.
To who?
Osborne.
Okay. And as long as it's not Douglas, I don't care.
Sorry.
All right, so let's get things kicked off here. Connor was the first question in here. Start sit question. You guys can see he's got his lineup set minus the running back position by the looks of it. So it looks like he's kind of down bad for RBs right now. I mean, having McCaffrey and Pacheco will do that to you, and Brooks as well. Dowdle on bye.
Tracy is a lock and load here.
Sermon and Tracy are my highest 2 ranked running backs here. I do have Tracy.
I'm fine putting Sermon as 2 here. Okay. All right. Yeah. So Tracy and Sermon, though, Algier versus Sermon is really close for me, knowing that Goodson's now getting the receiving work and he's coming off the injury report. But I mean, the better bet at touches is just going to be Sermon, right? So I think you got to lean that way. But like,
yeah,
you're feeling the RB 30 to 35 range
carries. Trey Sermon is your guy.
Yeah, maybe he falls into the end zone, gets you like 13 PPR points, and you're feeling good.
Yeah, I just want to see who he has.
Yeah, he
is starting Richardson. Would that factor into your decision at all?
I mean, if you want to play the upside, I don't mind going Algier in that spot. Then, like, they're close enough in my rankings. I don't think Sermon is this must-start option anyway. So they're good.
All 3 of these guys are like between 30 and 35 for me, I think. And Algier is the lowest ranked. But if you did want to go Algier over Sermon, given the fact that you have
Tracy still in 30. You still have Tracy in the 30s.
Yeah. I'm ranking him and Singletary a little bit pessimistically this week, just because I don't know what the split is going to look like. So I have them at like 30 and 36 respectively, because I think it could be like a 50-50 timeshare. But once we have more information on how the workload's going to look, then obviously I'll make adjustments at that point. But I think it's unnecessary to risk Tracy if you have better options, in my opinion.
I don't know, man. Like, what I'm hearing from Dable, it does sound like Tracy will be given more opportunity. Again, I understand it is projection. Again, I'm saying this like I have him crazy ahead of you. Like, I have Tracy at 23 and Singletary at 39 because I think it might be like a 60-40 is how I view it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way I could put him over some of the guys that I guarantee you have him over, like, Najee getting full workload and Eckler in such a great matchup with Brian Robinson coming in banged up. Like, I would rather start over Tracy.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I mean, like, overall, honestly, after Hunt, the 23 to like 31 range is pretty close anyway. So yeah, I don't mind that.
Yeah. So gun to your head, what are you doing in this situation? Sermon or Algier?
I have Algier at 35. I have Sermon. I actually have Sermon lower than that. I would go Algier.
Okay. That's I can capitulate to Algier just because I don't want to put so many eggs in the Indianapolis Colts basket. So if you're already starting Richardson, I think that's fair that you maybe want to skew away from Trey Sermon there, because Sermon is, we know he's not good. Like, we're just hoping he falls ass backwards into the end zone. That's basically, if you start Sermon, that's what you're hoping for.
The issue that I have with him is he's a volume play that we aren't even sure is guaranteed the volume coming off the knee injury. And
I think he's guaranteed the carry volume for sure.
But like, Goodson's been involved a little bit in the last couple of weeks, and he's been so much more efficient. Like, what's to say, like, instead of an 18-8 split, it's like a 16-12 split this week?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I mean, 16 carries is still, I'm going to take 16
solid,
carries, the top 35 running back every single week, to be honest. Because as bad as Sermon is, I think he has a chance. This guy's just watching Sermon last week, gave me hives. Yeah, no, dude, Sermon is bad. Like, don't get it twisted here. I'm not suggesting that Sermon's a good player. He is clearly ass, but he could score a touchdown. He had 2 inside the 5 carries last week.
The Patriots did the sharp thing, by the way. Go for 2 first, so now you have more information that you're down 9 for the rest of the game. Because, like, if you kick the extra point, you're down 8, but you still have to get for a 2-point anyway. So going for it first, you have more information for the rest of the game. So they actually did the sharp play, even if they didn't get it.
True.
Process.
All right. We got Connor's question answered here. Appreciate that. Jay Doll signs up next. Running back, Jordan Mason.
Where do you have Dobbins this week?
These two are both inside my top 12, and they're 11 and 12, but I do have Mason higher.
Really? Okay. So I have Mason a little bit lower. I'm a little bit concerned about the shoulder injury. Again, like, it does sound like he's going to be
He wasn't listed on the final injury report. I'm not concerned at all.
I mean, part of it too is like, I have more of a mid-range RB2 this week. I actually prefer J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins I have at 8. I have Dobbins at 8.
Like, I like Dobbins this week, but the
25 carries last week,
more of a pass funnel defense. So I mean, obviously the Chargers don't want to pass
overall, yes, but they've actually seeded, I believe, the second most rushing touchdowns in the league this year. That's the one thing.
It's a good nug. I mean, like, they're both good plays this week. I think you should probably move Mason up a little bit, knowing that he's like literally not on the injury report at all.
No, I think that's a fair point. Like,
7-point over under game.
Like, I think over Chase Brown, Jones, Montgomery, him or Jacobs is a close call for me. He's absolutely going to be in my top.
I would start him over Jacobs, and I wouldn't even think twice about it. Jacobs has not been that good this year.
Fair.
Until Jacobs starts to actually produce. Like, he's getting touches and stuff like that, but he also has like a 7% target share. He's not getting targets at all, and he's not really scoring either. Like, they're not using him as much in the red zone as like the Raiders used to. So I'm a little concerned for Jacobs. If you guys have Jacobs, like, I mean, the Jacobs versus Henry take is looking like as asinine as possible at this point.
No, I definitely got cooked on that one for sure.
But I would throw Mason. I think we're gonna just end up getting. Oh, actually, maybe we're not going to get Dobbins in here. I personally go Mason, but it is close.
You're going to hate me for this hot take, and I love this guy. But the decision for me is between Mason and Gibbs as the RB2 or the last.
Actually, I actually have both.
Achane and Dobbins are my 2 highest rated running backs here.
I also have Mason and Dobbins over Gibbs as well. So this is how we would set it. And we go to wide receivers here. Jaden Reed's got to be in your lineup. He's for sure. Absolutely a must start.
Oh, BTJ. I mean, like, you weren't going to play BTJ knowing the matchup going into the game, but just seeing how good he's been. Like, I had him at wide receiver 23 this week because I'm like, okay, Christian Gonzalez, got to give him some credit. Like, I don't think I can rank BTJ out of my top 15 moving forward with how good he's been. I can't.
No, I can't.
This wasn't even a good matchup.
No, it's not. Christian Gonzalez in shadow coverage. He has Achane too.
Yeah, okay. No, I know you're playing Achane here. I have Achane over Gibbs.
That's crazy. He's gonna be same to your Gibbs.
Insane team.
Just 3 better running backs.
So who? Jay Dollarsign. Either make a consolidation trade or maybe who's he have at wide receiver right now in?
Jaden Reed at St. Brown.
What? Dude, I got to see what the other teams in this league look like. If you have Hurts, McBride as your quarterback tight end advantages, and then those flex players.
Yeah.
Like, are they operating like Bub means?
Yeah. If you wanted to capitulate and put Dobbins on the bench in favor of Gibbs and Achane, I would be fine with it if you're not quite sold on the J.K. Dobbins situation yet. But I'm sold on the usage, man. I think he's totally up there. He's getting way better usage than Gibbs is getting, for what it's worth. And Gibbs also has a horrible matchup against the Vikings run defense. I think Gibbs could catch a lot of passes in this game. The Vikings are actually 5th highest in targets allowed to the running back position. But I think these guys are better plays. I mean, you literally have 4 running backs that I have ranked inside my top 15 this week. Yeah. So, and Gibbs is my lowest ranked of the 4.
I can't believe we're at a point where we're saying sit Gibbs because that's how stacked your team is. But when you have what was that 4 top 12 running backs in
Well,
my
Higgins
rankings right
too, man.
now,
Higgins is a great play this week
yeah,
as well, and we're telling you to sit him too.
wide receiver 15 for me. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, your team is good. We'll just leave it at that. Your team is good.
Yeah, I mean, I
But
could
that's how
I
we
could
would set
get
the
there
lineup.
too if you wanted to play Higgins over Achane and Gibbs as well. Like I wouldn't be totally opposed to that either.
I can't get quite there simply because Achan has a really nice game environment this week compared to what we've expected with Hundley in the
Yeah.
last couple.
Yeah, yeah.
Is this the first time we've seen the Dolphins projected for over 20 points since Tua went down?
Definitely. And also, I need to do a mini rant here. People that like I've seen 300 people say this now. They're like, if I was Tua, I wouldn't be playing football again. It's like, bro, you're not like in his head, and he has
You're not
independent
Tua.
neurologists that he's consulting. Like people see one bad injury and
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I would never play football again if I was Tua. It's like, well, if doctors are telling him it's okay to play football, I'm pretty sure it's fine. Like, I don't know why everyone's
Yeah.
pretending like they know better than Tua, who's in his own brain, and the doctors who are telling him it's safe or it's not safe. If he's ready to come back in week 8, I'm pretty sure the people telling him that know a lot more than you and I about head injuries.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
like,
weird. I'm seeing like random
I will
fantasy analysts
say,
saying that he should never play football again. I'm like,
well,
who cares what you
I
think?
will say, I will say, even like, because again, I've had a few share of concussions in my life. Even when you are clear of symptoms, like I noticed, like especially like the post symptoms at times are like really tough. Like just adapting, trying to. It's almost like a cloud that you have to kind of get over, where like you miss time of like crucial brain function for a while, and then when you get back into the fold, like again, part of it too is probably I had it when I was in school, so I was trying to catch up to like all of my work and shit. But I mean, same goes for the NFL. Like you're catching up on the playbook, you know your checks, you know your game plan on a week to week basis. Like there's still a lot of thinking that goes on. So my question would be like, how, like, again, he's experienced concussions before, so I'm sure he's fine on that regard. But that would just be my one caveat: is how quickly is he able to adapt to the new game plans with the trauma that he suffered?
Yeah, and some people in the
Not
chat are
like
saying like
physical
it's
symptoms.
ultimately on Tua to make the decision. The doctors can like
Yeah,
say their piece, and he can obviously make that decision. But I don't know. To me, people pretending like it's as dire as they're making it sound,
yeah,
like doctors would
no,
tell. Like if doctors were telling him you should never play football again, I don't think Tua would be playing. If they're saying, hey, there's increased risk and so on and so forth, you got to be aware of these, factors or whatever. That's what I'm sure the neurologists are saying to him, and he's obviously okay dealing with those if he's going to be back on the field. But again, to me, it's just like
yeah,
none of us know shit about concussions. So like all of us should shut the hell up, to be
yeah.
honest. That's my opinion on it.
Uh, yeah. Now,
We
with
got
that
another
being
question
said,
here from
you're
Snubs.
taking Tracy and I mean, you can't take Kirk,
This is,
so it's just gonna be
yeah,
Tracy and
Kirk, you
Waddle.
would have already had to have played. Waddle to me is easily the number one here.
Tracy, the one for me.
Okay,
Waddle's my
well,
wide receiver 43 this week.
I have Waddle inside my top
They're both
35.
getting. I mean, you're playing both regardless because Kirk is already active.
Yeah, and to be honest, I would have played Kirk over Tracy, knowing the backfield split was what it was, and his
I would
PPR.
have played Kirk over Waddle. I would have played Kirk over Waddle.
Okay, well then I would play Waddle over Tracy then.
I mean, I would just play Tracy.
Anyways, hopefully
He's been so
I
good,
mean, Kirk
dude.
isn't really having a good game, and he didn't get his foot down on that touchdown. So I
Yeah,
hope you didn't play Kirk. But if you did, I think for me, if I was making this lineup myself, I would have put in Waddle and Kirk. And obviously I would have thrown Kirk into my
yeah.
wide receiver spot and thrown Wilson into my flex because of the time of the game starting. But that is what we got there for you, Snubs. Next up, we have Daniel
Yes,
Kendrick.
sir.
What's up? We got here Jalen Hurts versus Baker
Hurts or
Mayfield. This is a tough
Mayfield?
decision. Oof.
It's Hurts.
It
It's
hurts, but
Hurts.
I love Mayfield this week too.
Oh,
In the Ravens
pro,
secondary, the one thing I worry about is that as a Bucks fan, whenever we're on like Monday Night Football or prime time and we're just like under the lights and we're getting any kind of hype whatsoever, like there's a
yeah.
silent like following that Baker's an MVP
Where do you have
candidate right
Mayfield
now.
ranked? Where do you have Mayfield ranked?
I have Mayfield. Let me take a look.
For reference, I
Uh,
have him at 10.
I think I have him a little higher than that. I have him at 7, so
Who
he's
do you?
close for me. But
Wow.
I have Hurts at 2, so I love Hurts this week.
So do you have him over like Burrow, Stroud, and Darnold?
I have him over Stroud and Darnold by a lot, Stroud by one spot.
Darnold by a lot.
Yeah, I have Darnold. I have Darnold at 13.
Oh, you got to raise him,
The
brother. That
DVOA
game environment's the
disadvantage
best of
for the Vikings offense versus the Lions defense. I get they lost Hutchinson, so the defense is obviously not going to look the same as it does on paper right now. The Lions have quietly been quite good against fantasy quarterbacks. But I think it is very possible that Justin Jefferson goes for like 140 yards and a touchdown in this game, which he's
I
literally.
play against him, so he's guaranteed to.
I heard on the GMFB broadcast that he has like 5 games of over 150 yards in his career, and like 3 of them came against Detroit.
I watched that exact same part, and one of them was like 223 yards. One of them was like 190 something. I watched the exact same fucking.
Yeah. Brant dropping nugs. This is very easy. Najee there. Corum's not startable. And then at wide receiver, Wilson, this is Wilson. Yeah. So Adams supposedly is going to play a full allotment of snaps tonight, which shouldn't really shock anybody. I think he knows the playbook already. He's been a part of Nathaniel Hackett's offense.
Is this a super flex?
If it's a super flex,
why is Baker Mayfield an option here?
Yeah, he might not have done this correctly when he filled this out, but it does say one quarterback, so I'm going to assume Mayfield isn't an option. If Mayfield is, obviously he's the easy decision, but for me, this is Xavier Worthy of the other options that you have.
Now, is it a little sketch having both Kelsey and Worthy potentially, but at the same time, it's like they're not both like extreme volume guys. Like I would say if it was Juju and Kelsey, I would be more like, ooh, I don't know if I want both in my lineup because they kind of eat into each other based off their usage. But like Worthy's the deep play threat and Kelsey's the underneath threat. So they're not really going to be competing for the same area targets, right?
Yeah, I also kind of I don't know why, I just woke up on the side of the bed this morning. I was like, Worthy's catching a bomb this week. I don't know. It feels like a Worthy bomb week. I don't know why. No idea why I have that feeling. But
I have him in my home league.
Catching a long one. Madison, Dobbs.
By the way, so real quick,
what's up?
In my home league, so the good about it, I started Dearness Johnson because I needed to, and it actually paid off, like 10 PPR points for Dearness. I can't really complain. Like that's about what I would have wanted. The downside, though, is I also had Pop Douglas, who basically hasn't played since the first drive. So
not great.
The other bright side, though, is he had Alvin Kamara on Thursday night, who was certified urine, and apparently went to Sean Payton saying, "Come get." He went to Sean Payton saying, "Come get me." Like, bro, like what are the Broncos going to do with you? Like, what?
Also, he outright denied that report. Like Kamara himself.
Really? Did he?
Said that didn't happen. Yeah. And then the guy backpedaled who tweeted it out was like, he retweeted his own tweet. And he's like, this happened. It's like, okay, I'm pretty sure Kamara knows more than you, but whatever.
So, I mean, speaking of the game, by the way, 7 carries for 10 yards, 6 catches for 14 yards. Like the guy, shout out my picks, by the way. Did you see how
fucking PPR points? The fact that he has like 7 points after a horrid stat line like that is annoying to me.
6 catches for 14 yards, giving him 7.4 PPR points. Lovely.
It's annoying. I'm facing him in our block league, so.
By the way, dude, did you see my Thursday picks? How close the margins were for how I hit?
Yeah, I saw Nix's was really close.
Dude, well, Bub means I had at 37. He got 37 yards. I had the higher at 34.5. And then Bo Nix scored like 0.1 less than his higher lower. I had the lower and he scored less. So I hit that.
Yeah. The thing that bothered me about it is that I had a 4 pick'em that I hit on 3 of, and Rattler interception was the only one I missed on, and Rattler probably almost threw like 5, and none of them actually got picked off. And then Hainer threw one at the end of the game as well, which is annoying. Is that like the very first pass attempt that Rattler threw was like at a Broncos linebacker's chest, and he could have easily picked it off.
Well, wasn't there the one as well that it was like he had a pick, or not a pick six, a fumble 6 in that game? No. Again, I didn't fully watch the game because I was actually at a bachelor party.
There was such a mess of a play where he like fumbled the snap, and then like it was just he was bad. Like, let's put it this way. The fact that he didn't throw an interception after like how he looked in that game is surprising.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, holding. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm just looking for Drake May garbage time points now.
Okay. So what are we
Romeo
doing
Dubs
here?
is a very solid shout here.
He does have Reed.
I mean, Dowdle's going to be out. Madison, Dubs. I mean, I'm going with Dubs over those other options personally.
Yeah, I mean, he lists Lockett here as well.
Oh, dude, go put Madison in your running back spot over Sermon, and then go with Dubs. That's what I would do.
I do. I also have I have
They're both
Madison. I think
stinky
one
running
or two
backs.
spots higher than Sermon
Yeah.
because the workload is better. And then,
Like,
yeah, I also
well, that's what I mean. The way I look at it is,
Dobbs as well.
I was gonna say the way I look at it is they're both stinky running backs, but I feel more confident Madison's gonna get the majority of touches than I do Sermon.
Yeah, I mean, Zamir's going to play this week, so that throws a little bit of a wrench into the backfield and see what happens there. But I still would trust Madison on like 50% of the snaps over Sermon on 70%, to be honest. Also, Superflex, Daniel Jones or Lawrence. Well, I mean, you would have had to start Lawrence already. Hopefully you did, because I think he's actually having a pretty decent showing so far. But I actually probably would have said Daniel Jones at the time.
Daniel Jones?
Like, would you at the time?
I have
would you
Lawrence.
have said Daniel Jones
I had
or Lawrence?
Lawrence.
I had Jones higher, so I would have said Jones.
Actually, I had Lawrence at 18, Jones at 19.
Okay, I think I have Jones at like 17 this week and Lawrence at 20.
Yeah. I mean, either way, though, you're probably content with that if you ended up going with Jones, because Trevor Lawrence has 193 yards because they've just been winning pretty much.
And running, yeah, they ran the ball quite a bit too.
Tank Biggs just 23 carries, bro. Fuck off.
Tough scene.
He has 16.8 for Avery right now, bro.
Yeah, that's not great. I'm actually in a good spot against Thomas right now because he started Kamara on Thursday night, who only had 7 points or whatever, which from Kamara, you feel really good if that's the type of performance you get. And Pop Douglas has like whatever, 3.5 points or whatever in his lineup. So feeling good. I need to win this week because if you look at my schedule, Danny, I'm 2-4 right now, which is obviously not great. But if I get to 3-4 here, your team is like I'm catching you at the right time for sure. You're extremely banged up, your team. So
I like my spot though.
Yeah, but if I'm playing, it's better that I play you now than week 2.
Then week 3.
Whatever. Yeah. Like if I was playing you then, that would have been worse. So I'm catching you at the right time.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to get assaulted by Zach in week 9. Like I'm accepting that. His team is fucking unbelievable. But then in week 10 and 11, I play, I think, Sal and Austin, and they have like a lot of bye weeks that they're dealing with. So it's possible for me if I get back to 3-4 and I can beat you next week. And even if I lose to Zach in week 9, I could go on a little bit of a run and get up to like 8-5 or whatever down the stretch if I end up. And like if Tua comes back next week, that's huge for my A-chan and stuff too.
So I basically need to I'm 4-2 right now. If I can go at least 2-1 in the next 3 weeks, so whether that's winning against you and Sal, I'm probably not going to beat Avery. I'm kind of already chalking that up. Really, if I can beat you and Sal, or at least go 1-1, which then I would be 5-4 at that point. Nico Collins should be back in week 10. That's the reported timeline I've been hearing. And I play Mason that week. So if Nico Collins is back then, and I got some solid matchups that week, Nico Collins, I believe, who did the Texans play in week 10? Let me just take a look. He'd be playing Detroit on what's probably going to be the highest over-under game of the slate.
Yeah. You Texas play me? No, we play in
week 8. I play next week, yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
well,
I
might have Tua back
for
that game, though. If A-Chan has Tua back for that game, that would be kind of the shittiest time to catch me a little bit.
Yeah. Not great for sure. It does also help that I have Breece Hall against this Patriots run defense that's making Tank Bigsby look like an all-pro right now, at least.
Yeah. My Mahomes-Kelsey stack next week, too. They play the Raiders. So also not a great situation. If Mahomes looks good this week and Kelsey looks good this week, and then they go into the Raiders game against you, I wouldn't feel great about that. But anyways, got another question here. Juju, Keenan Allen and CeeDee are on bye, so this is just an easy Juju Smith-Schuster into the lineup for you there, Claire. The flex, again, it doesn't look like you have any options. They're all on bye. Dowdle, Keenan Allen, and CeeDee Lamb.
Is there a comment at the top, maybe?
No, I don't see one.
Also, is that I got so confused. I didn't realize that was Juju because he's wearing a Pats jersey.
Yeah, maybe the QBs too. Like, Purdy and Mayfield over Stafford for sure. Without Kupp, if Kupp was playing, it would be closer, but I would still probably go with Purdy and Mayfield, to be honest.
I agree. Also, the other added factor for our matchup next week is hopefully Jonathan Brooks actually fucking plays for once.
Yeah, I hope you start him in his first game back, because I wouldn't if I were in your position.
Yeah, we'll see.
I guess it depends. You don't really have a lot of running backs to work with.
I have running backs, Tracy.
Not running backs,
Brown,
sorry, flexes, like your flex positions.
It's probably going to be Tolbert.
Yeah,
it's absolutely going to be Tolbert if you play Dak. But
I'm going to be playing Dak probably. if we'll see. Mahomes against the Raiders, like I might have to play him, even despite how bad he does this week. But
who knows too? I still have we're talking about potential matchups in week 8, without the fact again, knock on wood, I'm not wishing injury, but like if James Conner went down or if J.K. Dobbins went down, like that is a big wrench in my projection too, because I have Vidal and Benson.
Same can be said for me if Kenneth Walker. If
No,
Brees goes
I
down
know.
for you, I like where you're going to get smoked because not only do you lose Brees, I have Braylon.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, we're like the only teams that actually have implied plays on our benches. Everybody else in the league just has like steady producers, which again, like that helps. Obviously, you do need depth, but like the way I construct my benches in every fucking league is like I trust my starting lineup to the point where I'd rather just swing on high upside bench pieces.
Yeah,
and
well,
I'm sure
I
you noticed
also
that too.
like I reserve like maybe 1-2 spots maximum for production plays on my bench, and the rest of them are implied upside, like we always talk about. So, next question we have here from Q. Keaton Mitchell. Okay, obviously he's not back yet. Brian Robinson is in your lineup for sure.
Not
And
over the options he has. Absolutely not over the options he has.
Okay, yeah, I got too excited on Brian Robinson here. So
go
David Montgomery and J.K. Dobbins are in your lineup, but I mean, B-Rob is probably going to find his way into this flex.
Not over Chase Brown.
Oh, there's no way I will bet you that right now.
Write it down.
Brian Robinson, you're just a Chase Brown Brian Robinson against the worst defense in the league.
Who's been banged up with a knee injury the last 3 weeks, and Eckler's been cracking into his carry workload, and Chase Brown's is on the uptick in terms of his usage.
Yeah,
I think they're both like similar plays.
I think I trust Brian Robinson on 15 touches against.
Fair enough. I mean, they're both mid RB2s for me, for the record, but I would absolutely go Chase Brown.
Okay, well, this part seems to be easy. AJ Brown never leads your lineup. Wide receiver 2 is you got Higgins over Harrison?
Harrison should be ready to go. He practiced in full on Friday, but for me, I just need to see him play better. And I know Higgins is just playing extremely well. He has a 28% target share since he got back on what's been a top 5 offense in the league, especially in the passing game. So it's like the thing is too, it's like you'll see the matchup and be like, oh yeah, Cleveland, like tough matchup. It's like
they're not really actually no pass right now.
they're not good overall. I think part of it is like when you have fucking the apex predator playing as bad as he is on the offensive side, how do you even have the motivation to try to lock people down on defense knowing your offense isn't giving you a chance? Straight up.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the issue.
Yeah, you don't have a chance. Did you just call Deshaun Watson the apex predator? Isn't that a good thing? The apex, isn't that Randy Orton's nickname?
Apex Predator, isn't it the Aliens movie or whatever? I thought that's what it was.
All I know about the Apex Predator is that it was Randy Orton's nickname.
I didn't even know that.
Now
I gotta search this.
Also, is our bet completely useless because we're just starting Harrison over both of them? That's what I would do, to be honest. Yeah, Harrison's the flex over both of them, to be honest.
Yeah, very good. The top of the food chain. Yeah, he's top of the food chain for other things, but maybe the top of the pervert food chain.
Well, there's worse out there for sure. I'm in the football world for sure. In the football world, he's up there.
Yeah. He's like,
Next up, we have AJ. Got flex decision by the looks of it. Justin Herbert. There's a lot of QBs I'd start over him, but I guess you have Dak on bye. So.
If this is, by the way, if this is a redraft league, I think you can safely drop Herbert, to be honest.
Yeah, you like AJ.
He's throwing the ball 22 times a game.
Is Daniel Jones on your waiver wire right now, or
the list of quarterbacks I have ranked above Justin Herbert this week? He is my quarterback 23. Stafford, Rodgers, Dalton, Jones, Lawrence, who already played, Goff, Mahomes. I have at 16. Geno Smith, Anthony Richardson, Kirk Cousins, Brock Purdy, and obviously, again, it's late to say this, but. For the record, if Sam Darnold is available, you absolutely pick him up, A. And B, I would have recommended Drake May as well, but obviously that is too late with hindsight. But yeah, Justin Herbert, the fantasy asset, I am afraid is pretty damn useless now.
Well,
Tank Bigsby just scored again. Tank Bigsby just scored again at the end of the game.
Oof. I have Bigsby bags in best ball, so I'm down for it.
Oh my God, are you fucking kidding me, dude? All right.
Danny is cooked. All right. You're seeing a live tilt right now.
24 Tank Bigsby points, and he scores up 25-16. Patriots, no timeouts, and we're fucking adding insult to injury. We're running the fucking ball.
I mean, Doug Peterson's got to do something to protect his job here. He's got to pump the numbers up.
Fuck that guy, dude. Fuck Dougie P. No, I'm tilted. How are we allowing that to happen, up 9 with a minute left. Literally, if they just kneel out the game, they win.
Yeah, and I have to address this just because it was funny as hell. For those of you guys that don't know, on Twitter, I tweeted earlier today that it was the lock of the century that the Patriots would cover 6.5 points because the Jags have no business being a near touchdown favorite over anybody. And then after that happened, the Jags scored 22 points in the second quarter and pretty much haven't relented off of the gas since. So big time L on my part, but I thought it was hilarious. Like, I don't give a fuck. I mean, I got it wrong, obviously, but I thought it was funny that people were like dunking on me like it was my entire brand that was going down. They're like, what a bad prediction. Why would you make a victory lap in the first quarter? I'm like, you guys are way too serious here. I was having fun with that tweet, but
yeah.
Anyways, bad prediction on my part. It was really bad. Flex decision here for AJ though.
Hey,
What's up?
Jonathan, not right now, bro. I am live tilting. No, stop. Fuck off. So in the league chat, by the way, I said, cool. Nice pivotal touchdown for Bigsby, up 25-16 with a minute left to take the 32-16. The Jags really needed that.
They did. They did need that.
Absolutely. Fucking bastard.
Jordan. So in the flex here, we go in Jordan, Addison, Ladd McConkey, or Wandale. I have Addison or Mooney, I guess too. I have Addison the highest of this group.
Addison over who and who?
Wandale, Mooney, and McConkey. They're all like relatively close in my rankings, but I'm fairly certain that I have Addison.
I have McConkey the highest, but you want to see where I have those guys ranked respectively?
I have Addison 27, McConkey 30, Mooney 32, and Wandale 36.
I have Wando over you. Christian's not gonna be happy with that though. But I have McConkey 28, Addison 30, Mooney 31, and Wandale 34. So my answer would be McConkey, but again, he's 2 spots ahead of Addison. If you want to go with Addison, go nuts.
Yeah, if we go by our like consensus here, I have Addison 27 and McConkey 30. You had them 28 and 30. So I guess by default that would be Addison over McConkey as a consensus for us.
Yeah, that is pretty damn hilarious.
Yeah, dude, rest of the lineup looking mighty scary though.
Bigsby fucking scores 24 on my head. He's probably going to be a top 5 running back this week against me.
Oh yeah,
scores 2 touchdowns. Awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let me refresh the page here because I'm sure we got some more in the time that we were answering. All right, B-Fred, we got a question here from him, a trade question, ironically involving Tank Bigsby, Danny's favorite player at the moment. There is no way I would trade this for Josh Jacobs. Not a fucking chance. Devontae Smith over Jacobs straight, easily, let alone with Tank Bigsby on this side of the deal.
Yes,
I would easily rather have Devontae Smith than Josh Jacobs rest of the season.
You want to hear the bigger tilt, by the way? I am pretty sure in our Tone Setter Truthers League, I don't believe I started Bigsby. Did I? Did I put him in? No, I got blind top. Dude, I played Romeo Dubs in my flex because I forgot to sub in Bigsby once ETN was ruled out.
Devastating.
Yeah, and I'm playing AJ. You see, I had to make a trade this morning because none of my tight ends are actually active this week. I have Ferguson on bye and Goddard's like just dead. I traded Elijah Moore in a 4th for Zach Ertz.
Also, I'm trying to tank in our listener dyno, and I have Tank Bigsby as my RB1 in that league.
Oh my God.
It's so annoying.
Dude, you're gonna make the playoffs, bro. Come on.
No, I'm not. My team, dude. So I looked at my team, and coming into the year, if you asked me what's your worst dynasty team, like as far as like players that I like and things of that nature, I easily would have said that team. Like definitely would have said that team. But then I hit a home run on Jaden Daniels. Tank Bigsby turns into something. Jaden Reed becomes a superstar. Zay Flowers has taken a step forward. Deontay Johnson has taken a step forward. Wandale becomes something. Sam Darnold is like my 4th quarterback who had no value whatsoever coming into the year.
I think you can sneak into the playoffs. I can't even lie, bro. Look at the fucking like. There's like 5 teams that are like contending, and like everybody else like doesn't want to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, without Collins for the next couple of weeks, it would be hard for me to get back up to like, whatever. But like, dude, even behind Collins in this league, I have Zay Flowers, Jaden Reed, Romo Dunze, Deontay Johnson, Wandale Robinson, Khalil Shakir, Adonai Mitchell, Christian Kirk, Troy Franklin. Like my receiver core is like 10 deep in this league.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Kind of an insane receiver core,
also,
but I have no running backs. Like I have Ben Sinnott as my only tight end on my roster right now.
Also, no, I mean, here, if you want that end, let me know.
I
I
don't
know
really
you're
want to
not even
trade for
trying.
a tight end. I guess
I
I
know
could
you're not
send out
trying
some
to compete.
offers for one, but I don't really want to compete. I don't think my team is good
No,
enough.
no, I know I'm trolling. Also, I mean, like when you see teams like mine, like it's kind of like, do I really want to actually make the playoffs?
Yeah, like, and I don't want to, like trade for Josh Jacobs and Dallas Goedert to try and make a
Yeah,
winning push in this league. Like, is it really going to
yeah.
help me? Like, my team, my
I mean,
receiver core and my quarterbacks between Jaden Daniels, Sam Darnold, Bo Nix, Justin Fields, like that's a good enough quarterback core that I could compete. And my receivers are 10 deep. I just have no tight ends and running backs outside of like Tank Bigsby and Ray Davis and Jalen Wright and a bunch of guys that are like implied value plays that some of whom have hit.
by the way, again, knock on wood, because I don't want to put anything in the air, but this is my last undefeated team I have left in our FSC listener league right now. If I
Oh,
win this
really?
week, I will be 7-0. Yeah.
Yeah, my Flock Me Silly or our Flock Me Silly league was the last one that I had, but I lost last week.
Dude, my team randomly dropped a howitzer last week. Did you see that?
In that league?
It was either last week or the week before. My team randomly just absolutely fucking cooked. Like I'm completely tanking. Was it last week? Yeah, last week. I dropped 148 points because like I just drafted a bunch of like young running backs in this class, and it actually like ended up being a good strategy because like I got like Tyrone Tracy, Ray Davis, Bucky Irving, like all those guys at extreme depressed cost in the draft, like all third or fourth round rookie picks. So like my goal is like I wanted to tank and then just build around the running backs in 2025, but now like my running back core is like semi decent because I just hit on some random fucking Joe Schmoes.
Yeah, my Flock Me Silly team is so good. Like, I don't know if you've seen how good it is. It is unreal. My top 4 receivers are Jamar Chase, AJ Brown, Chris Godwin, and DJ Moore.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
My running backs, I don't even have Pacheco or JJ McCarthy right now, and my running backs are Devon Achane, J.K. Dobbins, Jordan Mason as my top 3 guys.
Dude, you have over 400 more points than me because I'm tanking.
Yeah, well, and I have Nick Chubb and Sean Tucker, my team is so good in that league. Like, it's unbelievable how good it is. My flocked up league is my team is also mentally unstable. How good it is as well.
My team will be up there next year because I have 3 first rounders, 3 second rounders in the 2025 class that I could just build my team around. Also, I drafted Puka, who literally hasn't played for me, so that's pretty dope.
Rylan with a shout out though. My Flock Me Silly team currently is starting Trevor Lawrence and Daniel Jones because I don't have JJ McCarthy healthy, and Will Levis is ass, who's my other quarterback. So my QB core not contributing much to the wins, but thankfully I have like 4 of the best like 8 receivers in fantasy, and my running back core is also loaded. So in pretty good shape there.
I mean, it hurts. Like we obviously did both startups, so I have the flocked up one as well. Does hurt that on a team that I did trade my draft picks, Rashee Rice and Pacheco are on the IR for me right now. But I mean, we're still 4-2. We're projected to win this week. Hopefully, we're able to secure that. And what are we right now? We are 5th right now, but like everybody's so close at the top. Like you, Cam, Jace, me, Tom. Like it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Like, and I don't know what's going on with the startups we did this offseason, but my running back core is also ridiculously good in that league too. Bijan, Kyron, Jacobs, Tony Pollard,
That was
Javonte
flocked
Williams.
up, right?
Yeah, Javonte
Yeah.
Williams, like even my depth, Ray Davis, Sean Tucker, like even my depth guys are like contributing and like pretty solid. It's weird.
I'm just glad I hit on Malik Neighbors. I traded up for him.
Yeah, no, I'm actually really upset that I couldn't get any like I barely got any neighbors. I got 0 shares in rookie drafts this year, and I had to trade for him in one league, because I wasn't going to get any shares of him. I traded Drake May, for Drake May. I can't remember what the trade ended up being. I'll actually have to go look, but I traded. I think it was Drake May and something else, like Jahan Dotson or something like shit, for Trey Benson and Malik Neighbors, and it's looking like an absolute smash of a deal at this point in time.
Jesus.
Let me see. Can't Wait League, I think it was. Yeah, it was Can't Wait League. Let me take a look at what the actual trade was. Maybe there was one guy that I'm forgetting in it. Okay, there was one more guy in the. It was Drake May, Jordan Addison, Jahan Dotson, and a 4th for Malik Neighbors, Trey Benson, and a 3rd. That was the deal.
I mean, I mean, it hurts. Like we obviously did both startups, so I have the flocked up one as well. Does hurt that on a team that I did trade my draft picks, Rashee Rice and Pacheco are on the IR for me right now. But I mean, we're still 4-2. We're projected to win this week. Hopefully, we're able to secure that. And what are we right now? We are 5th right now. But like everybody's so close at the top. Like you, Cam, Jace, me, Tom. Like it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, like, and I don't know what's going on with the startups we did this offseason, but my running backs I don't even have Pacheco or JJ McCarthy right now, and I had to trade for him in one league, because I wasn't going to get any shares of him. I traded
Not bad.
So,
Not bad.
I mean, Addison's obviously a good player who I lost, and Maye looks like a franchise quarterback, I would say. He still looks like a young QB, but Malik Neighbors is definitely more valuable at this point in time. And Trey Benson, I love, is like a rebuilding buy for people right now. Okay, let's get to more questions here. We're kind of babbling.
Wait, the Jaguars ended the game with 17 straight runs? What?
That's funny. Okay, Nico's out. Calvin Ridley, CD's on bye. This is a rough decision for think fast, run fast here.
Are you calling Michael Wilson and
I'm playing Tutu as the highest rated receiver here, I think, to be honest.
And the process is Ridley over Wilson, but do I really want to watch Calvin Ridley play football?
No, not even a little bit.
I don't think so.
I have Ridley ranked the highest out of this, and I'm starting to realize that, like Sal on our draft night, my rankings might be wrong.
Yeah, it's
actually, I do not. I'm lying. Actually, I am fully capping. I do not have Calvin Ridley higher than either of these guys, so I am playing both of them.
Yeah, fuck it.
Ridley is ass, like terrible. I mean, you could maybe make the argument that because Mason Rudolph is starting, you could get Ridley into your lineup.
Dude, okay, like I don't even want to hear the fucking Will Levis thing because, dude, Ridley is more at fault than Levis is. Let's get this straight in terms of his targets.
100%.
Like people are like, oh yeah, Will Levis like this and that. It's like Calvin Ridley just straight up does not fucking give a fuck right now. That's what I'm noticing.
He's so bad.
I don't know. And like Ron put this up, and like now that I'm thinking about it, like he does have a point. Like we saw how good he was in that one breakout year, but that was his only year in his NFL career with over 2 yards per route run.
Yeah, no, he was kind of like quietly like not that great of a receiver who had like a really, stars aligned for him kind of year. And the year that he had was great. Like, I mean, he was a wide receiver one in fantasy. Right? I think he was top 8 receiver in fantasy that year.
He was
or
like
whatever.
top 5, I thought.
And yeah, like that was a great season, but yeah, he like literally never improved upon those numbers. And I think when someone like disappoints relative to expectations that hard, like he did in Jacksonville last year, that should have been like target that we're like, yeah, this guy just might not be good. And I thankfully was not drafting a whole lot of Ridley this year in underdog drafts. I would have been probably way more in had the Jacksonville year not happened.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, even in the Jacksonville year, like obviously we were all over him.
I was all over Ridley that year.
I was too, but like for a miss, a wide receiver 18 year, 136 targets, like could we have really projected him to be as bad as he was on those targets?
He had a positive best ball win rate too, because he had like a bunch of big games.
And there's teams around, I'm sure players around him that probably
Waddle and Higgins and Smith weren't that good or whatever. So
yeah,
the receivers around him weren't great.
And then in terms of the flexes, I mean, Chase Brown is a lock. Put him in there. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah, it looks like it's probably going to be mostly running backs here. Tracy would be the second one.
Honestly,
God, are we going to have to subject ourselves to Ridley anyway?
Fuck Ridley. Put Ray Davis in to send the message.
No, you got to play Ridley.
I know.
Davis, I think.
I know. I agree. But do I want 100% too with Ray Davis on the injury report, by the way? But you got to go with Ridley. But just think fast, run fast. I really badly wanted to put Ray Davis in because I can't stand Calvin Ridley. But we got to give you the answer that you're looking for, and it has to be Calvin Ridley, unfortunately.
Yeah, and hopefully you can get by this week without Lamb and Dowdle and shit because you're kind of down bad this week.
Sorry, I just go in the chat and I see Car Chisel. Bigsby stock through the roof right now. Might try and scam someone now.
Okay, Carlito's got a question here. Trade. Yeah, Brian Thomas and Ayuk for McConkey and Lamb. I'm stacked at receiver. Did I lose?
Lamb.
I want Ayuk and Thomas.
Lamb. You think wide receiver 7's insanity.
That's where I have him ranked.
Insanity.
I like the concept of this deal. I just personally would shoot for one of the top 3 to 4 receivers.
Which is exactly where Lamb should be ranked.
That's not where he's ranked for me. So me and Danny disagree on this. If you changed where I had Lamb ranked to like wide receiver 3 like Danny, I think this balances out as a trade a little bit more. So if in my mind, my wide receiver 3 is St. Brown, if I just swapped St. Brown into this trade, then I would probably do it. But at the same time, like I have both of these other two guys as wide receiver twos, and I have to move Ayuk down a little bit.
Yeah,
so
I mean, honest to God, you could swap where you have BTJ and Ayuk ranked.
I probably could, realistically. I still believe that Ayuk is a top 20 receiver rest of season, but I have to downgrade him a little bit from the 13 rank that he has listed there. Although I still think that everybody's overreacting on him. I think
I don't disagree.
Way too low on Ayuk. Like people were sending me offers in the flock league for him, trying to convince me that he's like barely a top 36 receiver. I'm like, are you kidding me?
That's insane. So I have him at 22 right now. The differences maybe that you would have is, so I have Diggs over him. Especially
I'm going to do a live update of my rankings right now
rest of
to
season,
put Ayuk where he should be.
Rest of season. Also, I'm raising Brian Thomas Jr. I don't care.
Okay. Jaden Reed needs to be over Ayuk. Mike Evans needs to be over Ayuk. Diggs needs to be over Ayuk. Question is, of the 49ers receivers, does Ayuk need to be ahead of Debo? I think the answer is probably no.
Debo.
Yeah. Smith over Ayuk.
I have Devontae Adams over him.
I don't. I have Wilson and Adams at 18 and 20, respectively, rest of season.
I have them at 16 and 17.
Let me ask you this. Would you take DJ Moore over Ayuk rest of season?
No.
Would you take T. Higgins or Smith over Ayuk?
T. Higgins I have 15.
You have T. Higgins 15, right? I mean, I feel good about that because I have him in like every fucking league.
He has a 28% target share since he came back, and we know that they can support two wide receivers. And every single time in his career, he's been a high-end wide receiver.
Over both Jets receivers, in your opinion?
Yes.
Or no?
Yes.
Both Jets receivers, you have Higgins over. Wow.
An offense that's going to throw the ball at a much higher rate, number one in pass rate over expectation, neutral pass rate in the last month, weeks 3 to 6, neutral pass rate, number one team. And we know the Jets, even though they have great wide receivers, their identity is going to be through Breece Hall. Like, we still know that's going to be the case. Now, the thing is, like, of course, from a pure talent standpoint, I would take Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams more than likely over Chase and Higgins, but I think that's a very comparable duo. But when I know Burrow's going to throw the ball 35 to 42 times a game, and Aaron Rodgers, for the most part, because they have Breece Hall back there, will probably be at that 28 to 32 on a week-to-week basis, that's my decider. So I actually have both Bengals receivers ranked over both Jets receivers.
So I swear to God, I'm not trying to piss you off with this take.
Yeah.
But part of me wants to rank CeeDee Lamb wide receiver 8 because the immediate guy behind him is Drake London. And if I see another monster game from Drake London this week, I might do it.
Dude, you got to knock yourself on the head and realize, hey, CeeDee Lamb was averaging 28 PPR points per game down the stretch last year after their bye.
It's not last year, Danny. It's this year.
Okay, what are they on right now?
A bad offense?
No. What are they on right now? Because I said after his bye.
Yeah. You think it's just going to be the same thing that happened last year? We're just going to carbon copy the same season?
He had 14 targets last week in a broken offense, and they had the bye week, and they're going to get healthy. Let's not. Wide receiver 8 is the most outlandish thing you've said since Garrett Wilson over Justin Jefferson.
That was bad. I mean, realistically. I don't know.
I'm not going to take this CeeDee Lamb disrespect. This is outrageous.
Honestly, I swear to God, it's not like slander on CeeDee Lamb. Like the players I have ranked ahead
wide receiver 7 is slander, dude. It's straight slander.
Are you going to argue with me that Jamar Chase is an elite receiver?
Sure. Take Jamar Chase. Like, I'm fine.
St. Brown, is he an elite receiver?
I think once, like, I would take Lamb still over Amon-Ra. Dude, look at the fucking target hierarchy that they have there. Dude.
I would not take Lamb over Amon-Ra. Not a chance.
I mean, I think they're like very close, but I mean, dude, Lamb's literally an alpha on his offense.
You have the best offense in the league versus a league average offense per the numbers right now.
Right now, yes, but at the same time with Amon-Ra St. Brown, like, as much as I love him, JMO's going to have big weeks. They have two great running backs. When they get inside
big weeks, but St. Brown gets there every time.
When they get inside the 10-yard line, who's more likely to run versus pass, the Detroit Lions or the Dallas Cowboys?
The Detroit Lions, except they get to the red zone 3 times as often as the Cowboys. So it doesn't matter.
They're better at converting in the red zone, but we've actually gotten to the red zone. We just can't convert.
Okay, well, that's because you're an average offense, which is why I keep saying that Lamb is wide.
I think it's fine to prefer Amon-Ra, but I mean,
okay, Jefferson, obviously, you're not going to argue me on that.
No.
AJ Brown.
See, you know what's crazy is like we're arguing like it's outlandish, but now I'm looking at my rankings and literally the top 7 are just so far clear of everybody else right now.
Well, that's why I have Lamb 7, because I think that his situation, the way that the offense is performing, like between AJ Brown, Neighbors, and like with Tyreek, if he gets Tua back on the field, he's probably wide receiver.
We do have a question. He said on Flock.
Yeah, so we'll get to it. I got to refresh the page here in a second. We still got some time here.
Yeah.
But anyways, the winner of this deal that we have is I would choose the Brian Thomas side. Danny would choose the CeeDee Lamb side. If you're
I love
stacked at
BTJ,
receiver
but
and you really want to, you are so loaded that you just need to upgrade. Again, I personally would go after one of the other names that I just mentioned instead. But if you wanted to go upgrade, I'll capitulate to Danny here and say that the CeeDee Lamb side of the deal is the better side. But I personally would prefer
the difference for me is you said your wide receiver 7, right? Your wide receiver 7. Even if I subbed my wide receiver 7, Amon or St. Brown in there, I would want the Amon side. So it's just a difference. I guess you don't view CeeDee Lamb on the same level. That's basically what I've learned.
I view CeeDee Lamb as like a 16 to 19 point per game scoring receiver.
That's outrageous to me. It's outrageous
Maybe not
to me.
16, but like 17.5 to 19 point per game receiver.
Why?
Because his offense is not nearly as good as it was last year, and it's virtually the same situation.
It's the same personnel,
and he's not playing as well as he played last year as well.
Sure, it's the same personnel, and they had. If you remember, in the first 5 weeks last year, it was literally the exact same narrative. They can't score in the red zone. The offense is broken, and everything fucking flipped after the bye week. I don't know if this is just a Mike McCarthy special.
The difference, I guess, is that you think it's going to flip, and I think we're going to see exactly what we've seen all year.
Like, do I think it's going to flip?
I was on your side last year. I thought they were going to be a lot better after the bye week last year. I was totally on the same page as you. This year, I think they're not going to be that good on offense just over the course of the season. I think
they have the exact same personnel. They have like literally the exact same personnel.
Right. But the difference last year was that Dak was playing at an MVP level and CeeDee Lamb was playing at a first team all pro level. And they're playing like pro bowlers, not MVPs and first team.
They're playing bad right now. We don't have to sugarcoat it. They're both playing bad right now.
That's what it took for you guys to do that last year. And I don't think it's happening right now.
It's not happening right now, but it wasn't happening.
I don't think it will happen is my point.
It wasn't happening in the first 5 weeks last year. After the Cowboys lost to the Niners and then they had their bye, people were talking about how Dak's a drop in fantasy. You don't remember that?
That's fair.
Like Dak threw like 3 picks. Like, it was bad. It's like almost identical. We got blown out against the Niners, then had the bye last year. We get blown out against the Lions and then have the bye this year. Like, it feels like I'm living in a simulation right now with how fucking close the narratives are.
The difference here, Culture Watch, is that people pretend that Ayuk is like a wide receiver 3 in fantasy right now, whereas people are still thinking CeeDee Lamb is a top 3 receiver in fantasy. The price difference is majorly different. And like, obviously they're on a, if we,
I just think CeeDee Lamb's going to remind people who he is soon. Like, that's where I'm at. CeeDee Lamb's just going to have a 30-point performance off of the bye, and people are going to be like, oh, like, what the fuck? That's why that guy was 101 for a lot of people going into the year. That's where I'm at with it. For the record, Spicy, if you saw my bench, I had no choice. Now, in a kicker and defense league, I'm sorry, I love Dak.
By the way, Danny chose to roster Bub Means over Dak Prescott.
What choice did I have? Who was I going to fucking play in my lineup?
Tyler Algier. Buddy. You could have played Tyler Algier, not dropped Dak, and not played Bub Means. That would have been I didn't
think you would roster Dak on a bye as your backup quarterback.
Dude, you dropped a quarterback who's like a 90% rostered guy who projects as like a top 12 quarterback most weeks. Like, to me, when I have Mahomes who's struggling mightily, like, that was a risk and like some teams don't even have a quarterback like I have, like with Mahomes. People were going to pick him up. Like, I think you should have seen that coming.
No, and I get that, but at the same time, first of all, like, revisionist history on Bub Means is insane. Guy had 8 targets, scored a touchdown.
Please, anybody who watched Thursday's video, tell me if it's Bub Means revisionist history or if I was ripping on the guy the entire video.
No Pat Surtain. No Pat Surtain. 8 targets last week. Ran the most routes after Olave and Shaheed got hurt. You cannot convince me that wasn't good process. You can't convince me.
Anybody who watched Thursday's video knows I did not like Bub Means at all.
You couldn't have liked him, but at the same time, he played 89% of the snaps. Just Rattler was hot pissed.
Yeah, so does like Alec Pierce and like a bunch of other bad receivers.
And he had 8 targets last week, and he's a rookie. What are we talking about? Yeah, like, that's so revisionist. You're acting like I'm saying he was a top 30 guy. Like, dude, he was a fine flex wide receiver 4 projection based on the fact solely he was going to run all the routes and he was going to get 8 targets like he did last week. The unfortunate thing is Rattler was hot piss.
Which anybody who watched the Buccaneers game last week would have known that was the case.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think this is very revisionist.
That's funny. Anyway, so let's answer these questions. We're being nonsensical as per usual. Brazy apparently has this mentally ill 4 stack of running backs here who are all inside my top 15 this week.
This is like identical to the other one that we had. What?
Yeah. So the question, I guess, is, so if I look at the flex, are you starting real quick? Are you starting any of the wide receivers over any of these running backs?
My answer would be Chuba and HN.
Okay, so Chuba and Achan, I agree on Chuba and Achan as well as definitely being part of the 3, but I do have Mason above Chuba, so he would be the flex for me.
That's fine, yeah.
But
And I think
again, how are we saying to sit Jahmyr Gibbs is my question. Like this is where we're at. And it's not that I don't like Jahmyr Gibbs. I literally had him as the biggest buy low running back among the like top guys this week. I just think he's the worst play this week of this group.
I mean, when you have this type of problem at running back, I wish I was in your situation. Instead, I'm in the flock league. I'm starting Bub Moons.
I'm starting fucking Trey Sermon this week, man. I'd give my left nut to have one of these running backs as my RB2, bro. I would literally, you're sitting Jahmyr Gibbs, bro. I would like,
dude. If, by the way, whether it's Zach or Badaki, if Jalen Polk wasn't complete urine, Drake Maye probably would have scored another 5 fantasy points. But every expert in this league, other than you and I think it was Sal, the only one that defended me on the video, like Avery and fucking Mason were like, I'll trade.
Ripping on the Drake Maye pickup was wild. I think it was moronic to drop Dak Prescott and roll with Bub Means instead of just picking up a different guy. But we're not going to rehash that conversation. But Drake Maye was a great pickup. I thought that was fine.
The way I looked at it is the decision for me was, as much as I love Dak, I thought I could pick him back up after the week. I didn't think anybody would pick him up on the bye. And B, I just can't drop the kicker one. I can't. It's a.
I never told you to drop Aubrey. I said you shouldn't have dropped Dak.
Yeah, didn't understand why no one got him. Yeah, I got it for free too. That's the thing. Like, obviously, maybe I shouldn't have dropped Dak, but like, I got Maye for free. It's not like I had to bid on him either.
Like my thing is, even if you thought Bub Means was the better play than Tyler Algier, which
McMillan was always better, by the way.
Even if you thought Bub Means was the better play over Tyler Algier, because
I thought Means had legitimate upside. I'm not. Okay. I was wrong call, but that's what I thought.
You thought Bub Means was a top 40 receiver this week, which I'm pretty sure is how you had him ranked, and you thought Algier was like a high end RB3, which is probably how you have him ranked. To me, it's like, why drop Dak to play the top 40 receiver over the high end RB3?
Again, I didn't think anybody would pick him up off the bye after a 5-point game against Detroit. I'm not gonna lie. I thought I could sneak him back after the week. That's what I thought.
Yeah. Also,
worth noting, the other thing too is Wandale at the time on Thursday. Again, I was going to the bachelor party on Thursday. Wandale at the time had a questionable tag, so I wanted to make sure Means was in my wide receiver spot in case I had to pivot to Algier in the week. That was part of it.
No, that's fair. A lot of people, Zach saying McMillan cleared in my evals. Yeah, we were also on team McMillan over Polk as well. I liked Polk. I had all 3 Washington receivers as top 12 guys.
I just don't get, how did he forget the best part of his game? The best part of his game was
he had the best hands in the class in college, literally.
And he can't catch a fucking
outside of maybe Odunze, like nobody had better hands than him.
And now he can't catch a fucking contested pass now. Like, it's insane. If you can't create separation, you better catch the contested ones. Straight up.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there. I mean, and I do still have hope for McMillan, by the way. The third receiver spot for the Bucks, Liam Cohen basically publicly came out and said somebody's got to step up here, whether it's Jalen McMillan, Trey Palmer, or Sterling Shepard. To me, I think it will end up being McMillan, but McMillan has made some like rookie mistakes the first couple weeks, but
good luck, brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm in a good spot. I mean, as soon as we're done here, I'm going to record a clip for the Flock League because Thomas has played Pop Douglas and Alvin Kamara so far, and I have my whole team left to play, so I feel pretty good about what's happening for me.
I have 19% win equity, so not great.
Yeah, that's not ideal.
So
we do have another question here from Honest Abe. Running back spot, Sermon, Tracy. I mean, me and you probably are close on this, but I do have Tracy and Sermon closely ranked, but I would slightly prefer Tracy.
And then you're probably going with the wide receiver in the flex anyways. I would go Marv, and then I'm going Worthy over Sermon just because I actually want to enjoy watching football.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is.
Sure. Would I rather watch the 4-2 wide receiver catching passes from Mahomes or Trey fucking Sermon on a Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, at the same time though, Mahomes is certified ass. Like,
fair.
I'm gonna just keep talking shit about Mahomes until he does something for my Flock League team because I'm so mad at him right now. I can't believe I spent a 3rd round or a 4th round pick on that shitter when I could have had. Actually, I couldn't have had Lamar Jackson. Never mind. He went before my pick.
Again, maybe this is copium, A, because we loved him in the pre-draft cycle, and B, because I did start him in the Flock League and picked him up. But genuinely, what's stopping me from ranking Drake Maye as a quarterback one rest of the season?
A lot of things, mainly the other
What though?
quarterbacks behind him.
He's had 20 plus PP or 20 plus points in both of his starts, and he runs the
That's
ball.
Oh yeah, he's been solid.
Like,
I think you could get me there on top 15 for sure.
mhm.
Because of like, the nature of how the QB position kind of
Well,
tapers off around 9 or 10.
well, let's go through it. Would you rather him or Anthony Richardson rest of the season? I think I would take
Richardson isn't in my top 18 quarterbacks, so that's not close.
Oh, I just threw that name. I'm gonna go through a couple. Okay, quarterback. Drake May versus Caleb Williams, I think is.
I would rather have Caleb Williams because I knew that was the name you're going to bring up. I would rather have Caleb Williams.
I do too. I have Caleb at 13, May at 14 right now. But if you told me that after this week I'm ranking both of them ahead of Purdy, Mahomes, and Mayfield, I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe not for Caleb because he's on bye, but you know what I mean.
So I'm gonna adjust Drake May in my rankings right now to give you a live thing here. I'm gonna put him at 15, just ahead of Purdy and Rodgers, but behind Goff, Caleb, Geno, Dak, Mahomes, and Mayfield from QB9.
There's no way I'm taking Goff over May rest of the season.
I would take Goff over May. I feel so good about the projection game environment wise.
They don't throw the ball inside the 10
single game.
They don't throw the ball inside the 10.
Well, they might just throw the ball more in general now without Hutchinson, though. So even if they're not throwing it that much inside the 10, Goff's pass attempts numbers are going to be. He's having like a great season too. Like he's been playing really well.
He's been okay. He's averaging 18 points per game.
Perfect game.
From a real life standpoint, I agree. From a fantasy standpoint, he's averaging 18 points per game.
I don't want to hear the word. I don't want to hear Richardson and upside in the same sentence anymore until Richardson actually looks like a real NFL quarterback.
Yeah, I'm taking May over Goff because I mean, with May, at least I'm getting the rushing upside and I'm getting the upside inside the 10 to score touchdowns. Like
I would every time. I mean, it's 14 and 15 for me. So if you wanted to take May because the rushing, I would capitulate on that. But I think among the like pocket passers that have really good projections, I can't take May over like Geno Smith or Caleb Williams, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Geno is tough
like
for me.
Mayfield, Mahomes, and Prescott too are to me. I think they're just a cut above those guys, but.
The thing with Geno that's tough for me is they're currently throwing the ball at the highest rate in the NFL, and he hasn't been great in fantasy. Now, what happens when Walker's fully, keeps getting healthier? Because again, like an illness.
I think Walker's kind of running hot on touchdowns right now because not a lot of them have come inside the red zone.
Their pass rate inside the 10-yard line is the highest in the NFL, and Walker's scoring.
Walker's scoring at like the 30-yard line. That's what's happening right now. Like he's not scoring in the red zone. So I think if that stops happening and like some of the penalties and like the stuff, the Seahawks to me are just getting a little bit unlucky, to be honest. Like I think that Geno is very clearly like a needle moving, like passing quarterback.
Also, gun to my head, I'm taking the rookies over Purdy.
I have both of them over Purdy. So you're not gonna get any arguments from me there. I have both Caleb and May over Purdy.
All right.
Especially once McCaffrey comes back, like Purdy doesn't have real autonomy in the red zone. If Purdy wasn't going to have like a breakout high end, like he's playing, I think he's actually playing the best he's ever played in his career, but it's not translating to fantasy because they're still running like crazy in the red zone. I thought they would open the offense up a little bit more without McCaffrey, and they haven't really done that. So if that's
Purdy's still been fine, but he's
been good. Yeah, he's been okay. He's just not a needle moving quarterback. He's a guy that you stream in good matchups. That's pretty much what you get out of Purdy.
I mean, how many quarterbacks do you really feel good about on a week-to-week basis at this point? 7? Like the rest are basically streamers at this point?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like real talk, even with no Nico Collins, I think Stroud is the head of like do I feel great about him compared to Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow right now? No. So like Stroud is at 8 for me right now. Like Love would be the cutoff of the guy that I'm starting regardless of matchup. Also, why did my Elgato just?
Yeah, I've never seen that. That was weird. Anyways, Tucker Kraft versus Pitts. Do you agree that this is Pitts? I have Pitts like 2 spots higher, I think, than Kraft this week.
I have Pitts higher as well. I believe Pitts I have at 7 or 8. Let me check. This is the rest of the season. Okay, let me go to weeklies. Tight end. I have Pitts at 7, Kraft at 9 this week.
Yeah.
And then
that's exactly where I have them as well, I think.
That's jokes. Worthy in the flex.
Yeah, this is worthy in the flex. We don't want to watch Trey Sermon. That's gross.
Yeah. But yeah, and then we'll refresh, see if there's any last second comments. If not, then we can get through some members' comments as well. So we'll do that for you guys. And hopefully you guys enjoyed
button, but yeah, I never hit the next question button, so we'll just fill this out one more time. Tracy, wide receiver was Marvin.
Yep.
Tight end was Pitts,
flex, right? Worthy flex.
Pitts, and then Worthy was the thing there. Yeah. Okay. Anybody has any last minute questions? Fire them in under the gun. I'll take a. I have my phone right here. It tells me when we get a new question, so I should be able to see it without refreshing. But we'll go to full screen mode for a second here, and we scroll all the way back up to the top, and reward the folks here that were in here early.
Also, shout out there being no good college football teams this year. There's the pick'ems too. We'll show. I just said shout out that there's no good college football teams this year.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that game yesterday. That was fucking
Christ, bad. Dude.
Oh, I don't know what the hell happened there. Outside of the fact that like we just apparently can't play offense at all.
Here, where? Oh yeah, I Spicy sent them. Okay, let me go. You could share yours while I'm grabbing mine, by the way.
Yeah, so I have my my wide receiver ones are right here. My running back one, unfortunately, is already torched because I think I had Ramondre Stevenson's rushing yards in it. What did he end up finishing with?
18, I think.
Okay, so it didn't hit, obviously.
You took Ramondre Stevenson?
44.5 rushing yards, I thought was a very conservative projection coming off of the injury, and it was for a reason. I knew it was risky at the time, so that was a torch. But the wide receiver one that I have here, I like Tyreek to go higher than 55.5 receiving yards. Jameson Williams higher than 48.5 receiving yards, and then Xavier Worthy. Like I said, I think this is bomb Xavier Worthy week. 36.5 receiving yards there. I like the matchups for all of those guys. So that's one of the ones I'm rolling with.
I just realized my four-parter already hit because shout out Drake Maye. Here, other picks. I don't remember what folder I saved these screenshots in, so I just
I'll pull up my one that had Ramondre in it and just ignore that Ramondre part of it. Where is it? I'm also trying to find where I saved it.
I'll just show this one first. This was the must-start wide receivers. Again, I attached this actually to my wide receiver rankings video, so you guys would have saw that. But Devonta Smith higher than 11.05 fantasy points in games that AJ Brown is active. He plays 70+% of his snaps in the slot. Going up against New York Giants, we're expecting shadow coverage with Deontay Banks on AJ Brown. I think Devonta Smith has a nice little game environment there. Tyreek Hill higher than 4.5 receptions. Really, what it comes down to me is A, Indianapolis can't cover anybody right now. B, They have a full bye week with Huntley and Hill building rapport and Mike McDaniel developing the game plan. So when I'm looking at it with Tyreek Hill, we saw his best game since Tua went down the week before the bye. And against Indianapolis, I think he's got the opportunity to be a top 12 wide receiver in fantasy this week. Again, I had him at 23, I believe, in my rankings because it's still a little bit of a concern based off the offensive environment. But either way, I think the involvement is going to be the best we've seen. 30+% target share in the 2 games he's played with Huntley. And then Justin Jefferson higher than a touchdown. Great game environment. He historically torches the Lions. On top of that, cherry on the top, I play him in the Flock League, so he's bound to score.
Also, that's probably not available anymore because he's minus 135 on DraftKings to score a touchdown. So that's
got him good.
I would imagine that's pretty hard to find if you can find it, but that's a good spot there. Like I said, the Ramondre part of this is torched, but I do like the rest of it. Chuba Hubbard to go higher than his rushing yards total. He has rushed for at least 90 yards in every game that Dalton has started this year. I like Jahmyr Gibbs to go over 75.5 total yards because, like I said at the beginning, the Vikings are allowing the 5th most targets to running backs this year. So I like him to catch a couple balls in this one. And then Chase Brown higher than 50.5 rushing yards. I also like him to go higher than that because the Browns are a little bit more of a paper tiger of a defense. And Chase Brown got great usage. He out-snapped, out-carried, had more targets than Zach Moss for the first time all season last week. So feel pretty good about that.
It's very ironic that you took Chase Brown's yards because I have a Chase Brown pick. It was not the yards, though. It was the fantasy points. So I'll go through it all. Drake Maye already hit. Shout out Drake Maye higher than 202.5 passing yards. Really the freest line that I've seen. Jaguars ranked 32nd against quarterbacks in fantasy going into the week. Drake Maye threw the ball 37 times in this game. Potential game script in there with London. Obviously, again, we could talk about what just happened, but everybody saw him go higher, so we love that. Joe Mixon higher than 85.5 rushing yards, rushing plus receiving yards, scrimmage yards. With Joe Mixon, he didn't even get remotely his week 1 workload this past week, and yet he was so damn efficient coming off the ankle injury. I think with how good he looked, with the potential game implications of that being a high over-under game with Houston against Green Bay, I think Mixon, we can see get back to that week 1 workload, another week off of the ankle injury. Again, like I said, despite getting limited snaps, you can make the case from a pure efficiency standpoint. He was the RB2 in fantasy last week on like 48% of the snaps. So we love Joe Mixon there. I think he's going to get that involvement moving forward. And then Chase Brown, like you said, got the RB1 usage for the Bengals, took over for Zach Moss. You had the higher on yards. I had the higher on the fantasy points. I think he may even potentially be able to punch one in. And finally, with Breece Hall, in the first game under the Ulbrich and Todd Downing era with the head coach and the offense coordinator, he had 86% of the backfield snaps. And I do think against Pittsburgh, they will need him to be their identity. Pittsburgh's been good against overall receivers this year. We saw, for example, the Cowboys. The one game the Cowboys were able to run the football was actually against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh that day when Rico Dowdle had 20 carries for 87 yards. So when I'm looking at it, Breece Hall, like if the Jets want to win this game, he's going to need to be a big part of it. And 4+ rushing plus receiving first downs for a guy that involved just feels really nice. I'll say that.
Yeah, I'm very I'm actually, you know how they like the song for Sunday Night Football is waiting all day for Sunday night. It's never actually true. Usually I'm way more excited about the 1 p.m. games than I am for Sunday Night Football. I'm quite excited to see the Jets offense tonight.
Oh yeah.
I want to see what it looks like as a Garrett Wilson bag holder and a Breece Hall bag holder. I'm curious what Adams looks like in the offense.
Hey, you know what I'm excited for?
What's that?
Not having to sit through another 47-9 game with my team. I get to actually just breathe this week. Because last week, I'm telling you right now, nothing feels worse than watching your football team get fucking blown out and seeing tackle eligible passes at the end of the game to rub salt in the wound. I wanted to fucking throw
really
my
funny.
phone.
I'm not gonna lie. It was really.
Dude, they ran
really
a hook and ladder. They ran a hook and ladder to Penei Sewell up 30+ points. I wanted to fucking lose it.
Yeah, that was crazy that he was doing that. I'm not going to lie.
Dude, by the way, like this whole narrative, like, oh, the tackle eligible thing last year, it wouldn't have even came to that if they called the tripping on the right player. They called a tripping on the Cowboys when Aiden Hutchinson was the one that actually tripped someone. So people talk, Detroit got robbed, tackle eligible. They wouldn't have even got the ball if they called the tripping on the right fucking player last year. Sorry.
Yeah, Danny's rants about the bad Cowboys. Gotta love it.
I mean, the Lions may win this year. I'm not going to lie. Like, what team in the NFL is better than the Lions right now?
I am starting to warm up to that. If we got 3 litmus test games the next 3 weeks with the Ravens, the Falcons, and the Chiefs on our schedule. If we come out of that stretch 2-1, we can compete for the NFC, in my opinion. If we come out of that stretch 2-1, because our offense is a top 10 unit in the league for sure, if not the top 8 unit right now. And defense is getting healthier. They've been really bad all year, but they're getting healthier. So,
yeah, I feel you on that. Also, the 1 p.m. games have kicked off. Appreciate you guys for sticking with us. And I believe, what is that? I have 6 players active right now. God.
In the Flock League or in your home league?
In the Flock League. The only player that I'll have after the 1 p.m. slate is actually Breece Hall on Sunday Night Football.
Oh, before we end this out, shit, I just realized we had one that came in under the gun here.
Fuck. Why is your screen not sharing?
Oh, I don't know. We did get this one in under the gun. It's just tight end Cade Otton or Isaiah Likely. So I guess it doesn't need to be answered today anyways, because they're both playing on Monday Night Football, but I would roll with Likely there, Austin.
I have Otton higher.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I have Likely higher, dude. Trust me, our defense, KJ Britt, will have a problem with Isaiah.
I get that, but where are you ranking between Likely and Andrews right now? I don't know how the fuck
they're both top 15 tight ends for me. I think we're gonna have a problem with the tight end position.
I have them at 14 and 17 respectively. I don't think you're giving enough credit to your boy Cade Otton. The guy's just
he's been okay. I think he
runs so many routes, dude.
Yeah, but he did that last year, and he was like tight end 18 in points per game.
No, I know, but I don't know.
Like I think Likely is going to present a major challenge for us matchup wise, so that's why I like Likely in that decision. That's pretty close, though. Maybe ask me again tomorrow. But appreciate you for sending the question, Austin. Maybe you were meaning this for tomorrow's live stream, but we got it answered for you anyways.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna get the timestamp for it, but appreciate you guys. Hopefully your team wins, unless you're a Philadelphia Eagles or San Francisco 49ers fan. And enjoy the slate.
Take it easy.
See ya.
Who do I have going in the Flock League right now? I gotta check this out.